Hello and welcome everyone to the College Countdown new site coordinator training. We're pleased to have you today. I'm going to go over a little bit of the agenda of what you can expect in our meeting today. It is in meeting mode, and so you will be able to chat with us, and we will have time within the meeting for discussion. This is being recorded, so just for your information, so we can use it later in our other trainings for College Countdown. I'm Brandy Lindell. I work for Get to College, a program of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation. And my colleague, Kirsten Dufour, is my co-partner and coordinator of College Countdown. Through this meeting, we're going to go through the history of College Countdown, what it means to be a site coordinator, a member of College Countdown. We're going to go through the three initiatives of Application Day, FAFSA Day, and Signing Day. You're going to hear from some of your colleagues in the field. And finally, we're going to have time for discussion and networking to see and make sure that all of your questions are answered before the end of this training. So now let's go into the history of College Countdown. Since you're new to College Countdown, it's important for you to know that it's an initiative that helps students toward college during their senior year. It began in 2005 as a single day on a high school in North Carolina, and now College Countdown and other initiatives like it are in 50 states across the nation to help students. Mississippi began this specific state campaign in 2013 with just 16 participating schools, and now it has grown to over 120 participating schools since 2020. The goal of College Countdown is to provide every graduating high school senior with an opportunity to apply to college through application day events, complete the free application for federal student aid, and recognize their post-secondary plans and college signing days in the spring. So that's essentially what we as College Countdown state coordinators help you do. So we certainly will assist you with resources, planning materials, meetings, and trainings to help you provide these three initiatives, one, two, or three of these initiatives in your school. So you don't have to go alone. We will be helping you throughout the entire process. One new exciting initiative that I want us all to know about is Ascent to 55%. In October of last year, Mississippi's Education Achievement Council passed a resolution to adopt a post-secondary attainment goal for the state of Mississippi. That resolution established two goals. By 2030, Mississippi will increase post-secondary attainment of its workforce by 55%. And by 2035, Mississippi will increase post-secondary attainment of its workforce to 60%. So what's important for you to know is that your work through College Countdown, helping students, will have a much bigger impact on Mississippi's workforce and their college and degree attainment throughout the state. One of the first things that we want to make sure that you all have done is register for College Countdown. College Countdown is the statewide initiative that Kirsten and I co-manage. We provide resources, training, events to support you in hosting application days, FAFSA days, and signing days to celebrate your students. So be sure, if you haven't already, to register for College Countdown.
All right, so what exactly does it mean to be a College Countdown Mississippi site in school? And so we wanted to make sure that those expectations are clear. And that was the purpose of bringing everybody together today. So what the expectation is when you register as a College Countdown school is to provide the opportunity for all your seniors to have assistance with completing at least one college application, although we hope that they can complete at least three. At least one is very important, or however many they would like. The assistance in completing their FAFSA or MAP application. So that could be through partners, or it could be through your school team, yourself, your class, but creating a support space for those completion financial aid pieces. And then planning and celebrating post-secondary plans, which is that signing day. So the application, the FAFSA, the signing day. And so it's just you saying, absolutely, our school will create a space to support our seniors around one or all of these campaigns. And then to establish best practices for collecting and reporting data to College Countdown Mississippi. So some of the data pieces that we will ask for align with the application day is to know how many were a participant, what were your first generation numbers, how many schools in Mississippi did they apply to versus out of state type of thing. And so we share those expectations of data at the very beginning, which hopefully you find will be helpful. But then also we ask you, hey, tag us on social media, because all three of these campaigns come out of a national campaign. So the application day is American College Application Campaign, which is a part of the ACT, Center for Equity and Learning. And so they share out some national numbers there. The FAFSA campaign, we share out nationally with National College Attainment Network. And then the Signing Day campaign, we share with the Better Make Room from the Reach Higher Initiative, which is actually now a part of, is it Common App or College Board, Brandy? I can't remember. Common App?
College Board.
College Board. Thank you. And so there are some national campaigns that are out there that we share that information or those tags with. And so creating that best practice as far as what's the most efficient in your team at the school and collecting that data. So as site coordinators, what exactly is your responsibility? What are you signing up for? And so again, we wanted to clarify those things for you. So we ask, and as your responsibility, it's not hopefully too much. And we're going to have some veteran site coordinators share in just a second, kind of their pieces of advice as you're approaching and taking on this task. But register your school, College Countdown Mississippi. And we ask that you annually register. And so each year we have a new batch of applications. As you can tell, if you've registered so far, this year's application is a little bit different than last year. We are trying to figure out what's the best mode to do that. And so we report that, like I mentioned earlier, to some national organizations, say this is the number of schools participating in each one of these. And so annual registration, establish an on-site committee to support your planning for your hosting of your events. That's one thing we've had the opportunity to interview a lot of site coordinators over the past couple of months just to make sure and get check-ins and things like that. And that's kind of been the consistent thing. And I'm sure that the veterans that are in the group here will advocate for. It's not just you that's doing this. It's you and a committee that will be hosting and supporting your students in these events. Work with your school committee, teachers, administrators, community members, volunteers to plan and promote these events. So not only host them, but then also to promote them within the community. Right now, we're still in a little bit of a weird time, but it would still allow for that connectivity. If you're in a smaller community, you know how tight-knit the community and the school tend to be. And so think through how is the best way to build awareness, not just for the students, but for the supports of the students, whether that's family or that community members that are really influential, maybe elected officials, that type of thing, to really make it an all-encompassing celebratory and educational events for your students. And then coordinate the actual hosting of application, FAFSA, and signing days, and then collect the required data and submit it to College Countdown Mississippi. Or if your school committee wants to evaluate how impactful it was, you can share it within themselves. And then your school administration may make this a priority, and they may be interested in the data that you collect. So don't think of it as just as, oh, I got to submit this to College Countdown, but think of also this as an opportunity for you to educate others in the space that you're working on the value that these events can provide for your students. And so I'm actually going to hand it over now. We want you guys to hear from each of these different campaigns, veterans. So I will highlight our first speaker for you and let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Andrea Shivers, and I'm the counselor at Mendenhall High School. And I'm going to talk to you just for a minute about college application days. In August, we usually do a lot of the prep work for that September application day. I do a big thing with the teachers where we've got posters outside their door of their alma mater, and we're planning t-shirt days where they're all, showing off their school colors and their schools. But in the meantime, I'm contacting the different schools and getting updated videos. Each of the colleges send me about a 15-minute college tour. A lot of the students right now aren't able to take those college tours. So we're collecting all of these things in preparation. So then when the next week, we'll start actually showing these videos through our CCR class, and we'll start working with the students on the why. We've got to get the validity to ever make it make sense. You've got to give them that why to make it more than just, oh, I'm going to apply everywhere. So once we've done that, we've got our videos, we've contacted the colleges, we've gotten stuff from them. We've got banners hanging everywhere from the different schools. We've, just collected all this stuff. Then the next thing we do is we pull in our English teachers and our college and career readiness teachers for our seniors. And they work with us because we are a 4x4 block. Not every senior is in CCR first semester. So we work with the two different teachers to ensure that we've not missed any students. And then we plan our event from there. Today I sent out the list to the different teachers and said, okay, these are your students, these are yours, and these are mine. And our responsibility is not only to make sure that they're applying, but to follow through with it. Do they need a transcript sent? Do they need a letter of reference? What do they need to follow up after this? I print out a copy of every senior's transcripts going into this so that every senior has this. So in case there's questions on their applications that they need on what their GPA is, their ACT score. So they have all of this in front of them when they're applying. The next thing is the week of that we do our application day, every teacher gets involved in it. So that we have the teachers dressing up, they're dressing in their colors, they're supporting their schools, they're encouraging the conversations of why did I choose this school? And that's made a big difference. Each teacher has different relationships with students. And so sometimes I can tell them, oh, this is a great school. But if that history teacher that has just really made a big impact on my life, if that's where they went, then that makes a bigger difference. So we get everyone involved from 9th grade to 12th grade. And that's all.
Thank you so much, Andrea. We're now going to transition and hear from Emily Thomas from West Harrison High School about FAFSA completion. Thank you, Emily, for joining us.
Thank y'all so much. I was over here taking lots of application day notes. Those were wonderful ideas. Okay, so like Brandy said, my name is Emily Thomas, and I'm at West Harrison High School in Gulfport. This is my 4th year working as a school counselor. Made the transition from English teacher to counselor. Best decision I ever made. So I know Kirsten touched on this already, but the most important thing you can do on the front end of FAFSA planning is build a FAFSA team. It's not just the counselor's job to help students with financial aid paperwork. Our registrar is also the secretary in our office, and she helps us set our appointments. In the past, we've used Sign Up Genius, which is a really easy and user-friendly website to set appointments, and you can send people links and they can pick their time, and it's super easy. But our registrar on the front end will help us with our calendar planning. Of course, you want Get to College to be involved with your FAFSA team. And I can tell you here on the coast, if I'm ever filling out a FAFSA and I don't know an answer to a question from a parent or a student, I pick up the phone and I call Kimberly Trosclair and her team. So it's crucial that you build a relationship with your Get to College Center, wherever you are in the state. You also want to involve as many teachers as possible, not just your CCR teachers, anyone who is willing to learn about financial aid, learn how to fill out the applications. Say, okay, let's get you trained. It's not a super difficult application process once you've sat down and taken the time to learn the process. Kirsten came to our school in the past, and our principals have actually been trained on FAFSA. Now, do they sit and do FAFSA applications? Not exactly, but they know if they're ever in a meeting for any reason with a senior parent and it's after October 1st, they know, hey, have you filled out your FAFSA application? No, well, let me bring you across the hall to the counselors and let's get you an appointment. So our teachers, our admin, everybody in our counseling office, the whole school really helps us with our seniors in ensuring that they know I've got to complete FAFSA after October 1st. It's not optional. So the more people you have involved in that planning process, the better. It's also important to educate students and parents about FAFSA. They're like, what the heck is it? Have as many posters as you can all around school, just that say free application for federal student aid. They need to see the word free as much as they can, because when you say financial aid, they get confused. Oh, my mom will handle it. My dad will handle it. They don't want to tell you their business. But when they know on the front end, hey, we've got to fill out this FAFSA to help us afford and pay for college, then it eases a lot of the stress they have about the application process. So if you can put together some sort of presentation where you go into classes, have your CCR teacher do the same, and tell them everything they need to fill out the FAFSA, everything they need from their parents. And the more they know, the easier it is for them to understand the importance and the value in the financial aid process. Organize your FAFSA days. Get to college is the easiest way to start out with planning a FAFSA day. Over the years, we've come to the point where if on a random Thursday, a student is in front of me and wants to start FAFSA, we do it. So any day could potentially turn into a FAFSA day, because whenever a student is in front of you and is willing to take a few minutes, even if you just help them create an FSA ID, which for those of you that aren't familiar with the process at all, it's just creating a username and password. Takes, 5 to 10 minutes. So the more you can do anytime you have a senior in front of you after October 1st, never miss out on an opportunity. We've had FAFSA Fridays in our office. Get to College comes in person or via Zoom. They both work fabulously. Just be willing at any time to stop what you're doing and help a kid with their financial aid. The MAP website, the counselor portal that you'll learn about for counselors to check FAFSA applications and the Mississippi financial aid applications. I'm going to show you on my next screen. This is how we track all of our seniors and if they have not completed any of these applications. It's pretty basic. I have a spreadsheet already created of every senior, every graduating junior. I have a column that says FAFSA, a column that says MAP, an appointment slot, and notes. I check that MAP counselor portal every single week after October 1st, and I update this spreadsheet. In the notes section, you can put things like going to college out of state. That way you know, okay, well, I don't have to bug this kid about their MAP application because it won't apply to them. Also with appointments, I know, okay, I've got an appointment with this child's parent on this date, so I don't have to bug them until their appointment time. It's a really easy way. I just use an Excel spreadsheet to keep up with who's doing it on their own, and then those students and parents that I need to seek out. So again, Excel is your best friend and that map dashboard when trying to determine who you need to help. And then the last thing is communication with your parents and with your seniors. We have senior meetings every Wednesday. I'm sure your schools have them at some point during each month, periods, whatever it may be. Anytime you have a senior meeting this fall and next spring, just mention FAFSA. The more they hear it, the more they understand the importance of it. We seek out parents. We call them, we email them, we say, hey, it's December 1st. I saw you haven't started the FAFSA. What can we do to help? Would you like to make an appointment? Are you nervous? You know, we just answer whatever questions they may have and let them know we're here as a resource. We use Remind 101, and usually every 2 weeks or so, I'll just send out reminders that say things like, we had 25 seniors complete the MAP application this week. And then they'll start talking to their friends like, oh, what's the MAP application? Or I need to do that too. So it kind of gets the buzz going on Remind. Of course, we use Facebook and other social media to publicize when we're having FAFSA days here on campus. And then get to college. I was so nervous about our Zoom FAFSA days last year, but it ended up being such a hit and such a success that we're going to use Zoom, and we use Teams here on campus to have our own virtual FAFSA appointments. Because we still have, as you do too, those parents who are uneasy about coming to campus. Well, you can have a FAFSA appointment and complete FAFSA and MAP with them in 30 to 45 minutes via Zoom or Teams. And then my last little point is, when in doubt in FAFSA world, if a kid hasn't come to you, you haven't seen their name on the MAP portal, seek them out. The more you communicate with your senior class, the more you talk about FAFSA MAP, the more they know this is something I have to do as part of the next step of graduating and getting to college. So I'm happy to answer questions or anything like that once we get this rolling in a little bit. So just talk about it as much as you can.
Thank you, Emily. Our next presenter could not be here with us. She's sick, Deanna Rush from Union High School, but she's going to talk about signing days. We have a recording of when we spoke to her in the summer about her signing days on campus. So you'll be hearing from her virtually.
Okay, well, I'm Deanna Rush, and I'm counselor at Union High School in Union, Mississippi. If you don't know where that is, it's in Newton County. It's it's right on the Newton and Neshoba County line. We have students from both counties. It was the largest signing day that we've had so far. We kind of made it a bigger deal every year, and this was the biggest deal, I guess, that we've made. But it was a great experience for our students. We had a lot of parental support. This year we brought in all of our students in the high school. Typically it had only been kind of a parent event and the students, but this year we brought in 9th, 10th, and 11th graders as well to be part of it. And so that really helped the environment. There was a lot more hype to it. I wanted to do that not only to give the graduating seniors a little more recognition, but also to make those underclassmen really start thinking more seriously about, oh, this is going to be me soon. This is really a decision I'm going to have to be making either next year or in the next couple of years. And just to kind of, we talk about college, but to see it real, to see it happening to some of their friends, some of their teammates, I thought might make a better impact on them. And so I loved doing it that way. I think the entire student body did. So I think we'll continue to do it that way. We did it in our gymnasium. So we had plenty of room. And, due to COVID, we had not gotten to have a lot of assembly type events this year. So that also made it special because it was one of the few that we got to do this year.
All right, so I'm going to show you, sorry, I had to find where y'all were. I'm going to show you a few of the examples that she shared with us after she had to bow out of today's presentation, but she was like, I definitely want to highlight what we did. And so as we know, signing days are very celebratory. And so this is what Union High School did spring of 21. They abided by all precautions that were handed to them. And they did it where they celebrated their seniors. And as she said, they weren't able to bring in people from the community because we asked her about that. She said that's one thing that she hopes that she's able to do in 21. But they were able to make it a whole school-wide event. And she, when I chatted with her yesterday, she wanted to highlight that was probably the biggest celebration, is bringing in the underclassmen to be able to see that expectation of celebration that they can look forward to all 4 years in high school. And we know that several schools participate in all 3 of these and can share insight into that. But we wanted to feature Union this year as what they were able to accomplish with all of the curveballs that were sent. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm actually going to give us an opportunity if any of the participants would like to ask questions to any of our presenters as a general group. And then we're going to do a few small breakout rooms where we're going to talk about in small breakout room each of the campaigns, and you can just network and share with each other. But I wanted to give a space to allow you to unmute or drop in the chat if you can't unmute any specific questions for our veteran presenters this afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you were able to connect with some people in your rooms and got some good ideas. If there were any light bulb ideas that you starred and circled in your notes, feel free to drop those in the chat or unmute yourself and share with the group. I know I had some people in my group that are here looking for ideas and suggestions how to accommodate with new COVID guidelines as they are constantly being flown in our direction. So I'll work on the next breakout rooms, but if anybody wants to unmute or share in the chat any new ideas that you learned, that'd be great.
I wanted to say this real quick. I really like the way Emily said any day is a FAFSA day. A lot of times we sort of box ourselves in when it comes to FAFSA day of, oh no, you've got to come this time because I've got something else this time. And I think if we kind of allow ourselves sometime every day to say, okay, we're going to work on FAFSA starting October 1, there's FAFSA time every day. I think that would make a big difference in ensuring that we meet the needs of more of our parents and students. So I really like that idea.
Well, that is a perfect segue, because in our next small group, we're going to dig into more FAFSA talking, how we're going to work around that. I see in the chat, like in the FAFSA Fridays, how that sounded. Market as a student that way. That's it's a very commonly used. A lot of times your community colleges will have FAFSA Fridays that they'll help and things like that. The FF works perfectly together. So, all right, I'm going to open up the next round of breakout rooms. Let's talk about what we think FAFSA days are going to look like, and kind of how that will roll, lessons learned. So we will see y'all in a few minutes. So we've we've applicationed, and we are going to sign and celebrate. But this time we're going to keep it in the larger group. So that way we can all share and kind of hear ideas from each other. So if anybody has anything, if you've thought about, if you learned from 21, because that's probably closer to us than 22 is. And with every moment changing, I know that may be something different. So if if anybody wants to share out, I know we've got new site coordinators on here. So if any of the veteran ones want to share out, like, hey, this is what a version that we've done, this has worked successfully, feel free to unmute yourselves. And as a group, we can kind of chat for a couple of minutes about signing day.
Kristen, one thing that we did, we weren't allowed to have all the parents in for our signing day. So we did a video. We created a video that had the college background of the college that they were signing with. And we worked with our annual staff coordinator and got the students' senior picture and then a casual picture and put that overlaid over this background for the college that they chose. And we shared that video out with not only the senior class and their parents, but we got permission to share that video out with on Facebook and social media as well. And just to kind of celebrate, we wanted as many as possible to be able to see that, that we were celebrating our students and where they were going.
You're getting some love in the chat for that idea, for sure. I know one thing that I've seen happen that's been very successful is using the celebration of what used to be the senior trip or the senior kind of experience. One that I really liked is when they took butcher paper and they put each of the schools that the student was going to on the hallway. And so they did it pretty early in the spring, like I would say mid-April, so they could be there for a little while. And they had a celebratory as the seniors were like leaving to go on a trip or to a special event. They had all the seniors go and sign literally on the wall on that butcher paper for the college they were going to, and then they left it up for a little while so that everybody else in the school could see who was going where, and it kind of made it more of an environment. They did it, they kept their award ceremony as like they're more formal, but they let this be a little bit more casual and fun and a part of kind of that senior exit type of thing, but then allowed that to be the decoration at the school to kind of set that expectation like we've heard about for those underclassmen.
Something that I did at my previous school was on May 1st, which is, the day that all students will say where they're going, potentially. We just allow the students to wear a t-shirt or sweatshirt of the college that they chose. And that was always fun, just making it a big deal, taking pictures, just kind of putting it out there.
I think I like when my daughter did. They didn't reveal. They got together as a group at the end at that section, and they pulled off the shirt to show the school that they had chosen to go to. I like that.
I like that a lot too. I think that's a lot of fun. People could have a lot of fun with that.
That is a cute idea.
I think we just have to get creative with whatever we do. I don't think we can just stay in our little box anymore. I think, in order to still give them that experience, I think we're going to have to try to come up with new ideas and new ways to celebrate and to recognize the hard work that has gone into getting these students where they're going.
And one thing too is to utilize, especially the way things are changing for sure. And one thing is that's been mentioned, I've heard when talking about signing day, is utilizing who you have. Like, Ms. Shivers mentioned, we use the, yearbook. Well, I know we chatted with Meridian and they were like, we used the music teacher and they helped us compose a song that we used on our video. And then we highlighted student singers and they made a song / hip hop version for the senior class to celebrate. And so it's like thinking about who you have within your space. And so as we kind of talked about, it's a team, it's a committee, it's not just you. Like really think about like who can make a celebration really great, right? Who has experience within this? And so you've got you guys sit in a building that has a lot of really creative people, and so utilizing those creativity juices to make it fun and unique for your students. All right. Does anybody have any other ideas or suggestions or questions before we kind of wrap up? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, we've created a tangible to-do list for you guys. We want to give you some things that, you feel like you got some takeaways. So Brandy, I'm going to screen share if you want to kind of share these items with everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Kirsten. So first and foremost, we hope that you download and review the College Countdown Toolkit. Kirsten's going to put that in the chat, the link for that toolkit. If you have already registered for College Countdown, you may have already received that. I hope you have. But it has some amazing resources for all three initiatives. And we really tried to consider all options, a hybrid or virtual option, a traditional option, and then a classroom option. So hopefully you can find lots of great ideas and resources there. We have a robust YouTube channel for College Countdown. We have been recording our trainings, our interviews, and we have posted a lot of great planning toolkits that are videos on our YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. You'll be able to learn a lot from your colleagues in that YouTube playlist. We have some other webinars that are coming up, so mark your calendar. We have September 9th. We will be overviewing the FAFSA toolkit. And then March 2nd, we'll be reviewing the signing day toolkit. So if you're interested in hosting those events, we will go over the toolkit with you and be able to answer any questions that you have about those. And then obviously your next step is planning your school's events, how they're going to look, what you're going to do, and how you're going to be able to help your students. And that's a wrap for this meeting and training, but we're happy to take any final questions or comments that you have for the group or for Kirsten and myself.
I was frantically trying to type over here. I've dropped in the chat the application day toolkit. We are finalizing. There's been some changes since just earlier this week for the FAFSA day one. So we're finalizing that. Going to email it to everybody on Monday for the full toolkit. That's application, like Brady said, application, FAFSA, signing day. And then we've made that playlist like she mentioned. I've dropped that in the chat. Whoop, hold on. Wrong thing. There we go.
Thank you, Kirsten. Any final questions or comments from the group?
How do we sign up for the September 9th event?
She will give you that link as we speak. That's a great idea. Great question.
Thank you.
And make sure while she's doing that, I want to send a shout out for our College Countdown newsletter. So if you're not receiving a monthly newsletter from College Countdown, be sure to let us know, because it lists all of our opportunities, our resources, our trainings, our updates. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting that once a month. And Kirsten did put the link for the September 9th FAFSA toolkit review for you to register for that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate all of your participation, your willingness to chat and network with us, and those presenters. Thank you for your time. And we are going to call this a wrap. So please know Brandy and I are here to answer any questions. If you are new, if this is things that you're digesting and you want to hop on a call or chat about things, we're always here to help you. And we can always connect you with other site coordinators if you want that connection as well. So thanks for everything that we do. We appreciate all of you, and we will be seeing you hopefully soon during some additional webinars. So everybody have a safe and healthy afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us.